30 years have since passed, and while a whole lot has changed, the song remains the same. The Wolf still rocks.
Hey there, it's Brian Ellis, Morning Show 101.5 The Wolf, and we continue our video series as we celebrate the Wolf's 30th birthday. We launched this radio station February 14th, 92. This guy is still with us, hasn't been with us the whole 30 years, but been with us for a while. Steve Kearns, afternoon drive announcer. Hey, Steve, thanks for doing this.
Hey, Brian, how you doing today?
Good, man. I remember when you started with the Wolf, but take us back. Take us back your journey to get to the Wolf.
I remember when I first walked in, and later on you told me that you thought I was there to collect money for a gambling debt from somebody.
Well,
I came in with my big beard and my leather jacket, and then later on, years later, you told me that on first impression, you thought I was there to collect money from somebody. But anyway,
you look like a reality star collection guy. But
yeah.
but you came to us. When did you join us?
2010 was when
Okay.
I got into radio. I had received a grant to go back to school after the economy hit the dumper in 2008, and I went back to school for radio college. And then I found out in radio college that they don't let you touch the radio station until the second year. And I decided that that was not appropriate and that would not do. So I made every excuse I could to get into the Wolf 101.5 and meet what we call the program director. And after he took me around and we met everybody, it turned out that they needed somebody for the All Request Saturday night. And I went on the air that weekend with barely any radio experience whatsoever. I had no idea how to even turn on the buttons, but I may have fudged my abilities a little bit to the boss.
Yeah.
But afterwards, when he found out that I was in college and I would do anything for free for the longest time possible, I just started to do the All Request Saturday night every single weekend, and then that turned into weekends in the daytime where I'd be on from pretty much 6 a.m. all the way until midnight with a couple hours break in between. And then that turned into full-time nights. And then I was the nighttime guy for 7 years, and then I've been the afternoon guy for 4 or 5 now. I don't know. It's longtime listeners of the Wolf, the All Request Saturday Night has been around for years, but I can attest to the fact that you really love doing that show because you've given up your Saturday nights for years, and that tells you that you really do enjoy that show. You can hear it. Yeah, it's 11 years running, but I mean, it's more of just it's for the people. That's what I love about that show. I don't know of another show in all of the country where literally people call in and it's programmed on the fly for their specific, musical tastes in real time. I don't know of any other show that still does it. A lot of people post memes about the classic days of radio where there was a station that would do that locally, but I think we are one of the last in the country that do it, and it gets listeners from Shetland, BC to Pasadena, Newfoundland, and everywhere in between. It's really something that's just kind of for the fans, and we get all kinds of characters that phone in every single weekend, and they just sit there and hit dial over and over again, and people say that they call 200, 300 times a weekend. There's also all the other people that come to our area. They're not local. So every summer our population doubles and the listening area doubles or triples, where people are just out at the cottage, unplugged from the internet, and just want to relax with the Wolf 101.5 down by the dock.
And that's it too. I mean, you figure on a Saturday night, especially in the summertime, cottages, camping. I mean, you are serving a lot of people, and the thing I love about the show too, Stephen, is that you do get those callers on the air. It's not just here's one for Bill, here's one for Sandy. I mean, you get them on the air, which it sounds great, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. And then I tell all the kids if they do get through, because chances are they're probably just requesting a song for their parents. I tell them that they get to eat all the sugar in the house and stay up till midnight. It's fun for the whole family. It really is.
It is fun for the whole family, yes.
Exactly. But as you were talking about, I mean, our coworker, Gord Gibb over there at Fresh Radio, he tells me about when he's at the cottage and he's just sitting there on a nice, quiet Saturday night. And then he immediately knows when it's about 8 o'clock, 8:30, when people just start howling from around his lake, because he can hear them all throughout getting on the air. So.
And you talk about the Wolf Howl, and I've in a few other videos I've mentioned that there are radio programming folks around the country that would love to have something like a Wolf Howl, right? And I told this story. I was talking with Craig Gear, who used to work for us, and I said, that Wolf Howl. When we first started that back in 1992, that came from the intro of a John Lennon song called Scared, I think it was called Scared.
Mm.
So that Wolf Howl is from the intro of a John Lennon song. It wasn't like a sound effect that we pulled off of an album or whatever at the time, but it's actually from the intro of a John Lennon song. And that Wolf Howl that we use today, still same howl from 30 years ago, like exactly the same Wolf Howl.
Well, I must hear about 25 to 30 people do it every weekend. So
yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, I'll tell you my secret about the howl is it's easier than saying goodbye for me. Where it's just I'm taking all these phone calls over and over and over again, and rather than do that, okay, bye, okay, no, you bye, all right, you have a good day.
Yeah.
You just say howl and hang up on them, and that's it.
Exactly,
They're happy, you're happy, and the song's coming up in minutes. So stay tuned.
Exactly. On top of the All Request Saturday night, is there another memory that really stands out for you from your time with us here at the Wolf?
You and I interviewing David Wilcox.
Yeah.
Remember at Wolfstock, and it was a
Yep.
Sunday morning. David Wilcox was just about to hit the stage, and all of a sudden we are interviewing David Wilcox. I'm maybe 3 years into radio, and I'm meeting just a legend who I play every weekend on the All Request Saturday night. And from the day this station went on the air, my dad and I would always be rolling around in the car, and we always had the question of, why in the middle of doing the Bearcat do you just say George Washington? And we couldn't figure it out for the life of us. This was years, decades of me and my dad listening to that song and wondering, why the heck does he say that? And finally at Wolfstock one year, I got the chance to ask him. And do you remember what he said?
You know what? I'm trying to remember what he said now. What did he say?
We thought this must be like him telling a roadie to make him a George Washington when they go into the solo. Like it must have been a drink or a code for something. And he told us that it was to tell the band to go to the bridge. And I was like, what? And he's like, the George Washington Bridge. I'm telling the band to go to the bridge of the song. And I'm like, that is the least satisfying answer I ever wanted, David Wilcox. It's so uncool. He's like, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But then remember, I looked down, and to save our interview, instead of horribly insulting him, we noticed that he was wearing the freshest pair of Air Jordans you'd ever seen. They were bright purple. Yep. And that's when he revealed to us that David Wilcox has a bigger Air Jordan shoe collector, he said, than any rapper on television ever. David Wilcox apparently collects Air Jordans more than anybody else. So that was one of the just blow my mind moments. But
and a really nice guy too, like just down to earth, decent guy. And I've had a chance to see David Wilcox over the years, and I think even he'll admit, back in the day, like he drank a lot, and he'd be on stage and wouldn't make sense sometimes, right? But when I don't know whether he drinks anymore now, but
no, I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either. So when he's sobered up, and God, like he puts on a great show. It's like him and a bass player and a drummer. And that's all they need, like a little 3-piece band. So you've been doing Afternoon Drive for a while and enjoying that. It's nice, I guess, to sort of have your mornings, but it's also nice to still be able to connect with the audience like you do, not only Saturday nights, but you're working Monday to Friday as well. So you're putting in a full week,
I do, man, 6 days a week. And sometimes I do Sunday nights as well. So you can catch me any day, but I mean, I absolutely love it. There's no better job in the world. This was a dream job for me. It was never supposed to be, I worked in factories. I was a high school dropout, and out of nowhere, I got the opportunity to go back to college for it. And then within 2 months of being in college, I was on the radio. When I went back to college, they couldn't believe that I was on one of the biggest markets in the country when it comes to Peterborough and everything. We are 33rd, but we're one of the biggest ones. There's just not as many of them as you'd think. But the fact that I came back and I had the teacher said, you have your own show on the Wolf 101.5. And looked him right in the eye and said, yes. And he was like, what am I doing here?
So, let's rubber stamp your diploma. Away you go. We'll see you later.
Exactly. There couldn't be anything better than just being on the radio station that you grew up listening to, and then all of a sudden one day you're on it, and then you look back and it's been 11 years.
Amazing. And
And
it's been 30 years for me. And
yeah,
boy, there's been a lot of listeners that have been with us through the whole time, and others that have joined us along the way. But it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to not another 30 for myself, but another few years at least. Looking forward to that. So, Steve Kearns, our afternoon drive guy, thanks so much for chatting. We appreciate you reminiscing about your time with the Wolf.
all right, now Brian, people have heard me do it, but can you do a wolf howl? Let's do it
Ow!
together.